What's up, YouTube? It's Kenny again. Sitting at this Target parking lot where I like to go in Aurora, Illinois, and I had a slow day today and probably going to be sitting around quite a bit tomorrow. And I've been thinking a lot about van life stuff. Really going over it in my head, thinking about this van and the possibilities, what I can do with it, how I could potentially spend a little less, what I really need versus what I don't need, in terms of what I planned for it, and maybe like things that I could do a little less or do a little differently now, and then like after the first trip, then maybe I go a little more heavy if I need to. And just thinking about, like, in general, the inside layout that I've been thinking of, and what might work better, and thought I'd talk a little bit about that stuff. It's just me rambling. If you're just finding the channel, please hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave me a comment below. This journey is really getting started now that I've bought the van. The bank account is at $9,000. I put another $1,000 in there on this first paycheck already. On the first, I missed a full paycheck last week, got paid this week, and was able to throw $1,000 in right away. So we're at $9,000. And guys, at $9,000, it's enough to do the whole solar and buy most of what I need for the inside of the van. However, first we've got to do some mechanical things, and that's going to cost quite a bit. I'm going to do some of it myself. I talked a little bit about that in another video. I believe what I'm going to do is pay a buddy of mine a couple $100 to come help me, rent that shop with the lift for a day, and then do some work myself. Spend a whole day, probably change the starter, fuel filter, possibly the fuel pump, have a really good look at the underside of the van, and determine if anything in the front end or any of the suspension stuff needs to be replaced, and who knows what else I might tackle if there's time. But I think at least I should be able to do the starter, the fuel filter, the fuel pump if I decide to do it, and maybe some undercoating on the bottom, and have a good look at that suspension while I've got access to a lift. Another thing that will happen for sure is new tires. Those all-terrain tires or whatever they are that are on it. I want to make sure I got really good rubber. So the tires will be getting changed, and I won't be going with a little $400 set of tires. I'm probably going to put BF Goodrich KO2s on it, I believe. So that's going to be, probably $1,000 in tires. And then beyond that, I'll make some decisions once I really get to drive it a lot. I'll definitely have to have the AC charged. I'm starting to think that there may be a rear AC in it that's hidden up under all of that interior stuff. I really got to thinking about the shape of everything in there, and it's got those rear AC vents, and I don't really see a way that those are coming from the front, so I believe there may be a rear AC unit in it. Anyway, I pretty much have decided that I'm going to yank the interior out of it. At first I thought that I wouldn't, but now I believe that I'm going to do that, and I think I'm going to get this spray foam insulation that you can get that comes in cans. There's a few different companies that make it, and I believe I'm going to insulate heavily with that stuff. Because of all the windows, there's not a whole lot of surface area in there, and I believe I can get out with 10 cans or so of it. It's going to be, $250 for the cans, but it's going to be a really solid type of insulation in there, and probably also do some stuff with some reflectics. But so some of the changes that I've been going over in my head, I actually sat down today with a piece of paper and looked at my measurements and drew out a diagram and started thinking about placement. So initially, with that bench seat that is automatic, initially I had a couple thoughts. Firstly, I thought that I would just leave it in there where it's at, but you're losing a lot of storage. So then I was thinking maybe I cut it down smaller and skip it off to the side so that the bed's not quite so wide. But now I'm really starting to think that instead of, like, when you open the double doors straight across there, instead of doing the kitchen stuff right there, I think I may remove that bench seat and put it sideways all the way back in there, all the way up against the driver's seat. And then I will have my couch sitting area right in front of those double doors. And I kind of like that. And then I can do the kitchen across from that back toward the back. And, that'll really open up that rear area to allow me to do some really good storage solutions, garage and stuff toward the back. And I kind of think that's the way I'm going to go. I'm on the fence about it, but if I do it that way and it puts a couch right there, I may just take the passenger seat out of it and use that area for a cubby and for a refrigerator and some kind of a storage or counter space or something where that passenger seat is at. I'm not sure about that yet, because I will want to roll my kid around with me once in a while, and he's a grown up. He can sit on the couch in the back. We'll make some decisions about that, but it's a possibility. Another thing that I think I've decided is, initially I was going to cover the whole top with solar panels. All right. And with me going with a little bit smaller solar panels so that they don't stick off so much, that was going to put me at 1200 watts on the top. And that basically would cover the whole top of the van. But now I'm thinking I may only put 2 of those panels up there. I may put 2 and do 800 watts, and instead of going with a 24 volt system, I'll go with the 12 volt system. What that's going to allow for is it's going to allow me to get a DC to DC charger so that I can charge while I'm driving. If I do a 24 volt system, it's a lot more difficult to make that happen. It can be done, but it's not as easy. With a 12 volt system, I can just get a Renogy 50 amp DC to DC charger, install it, and then whenever I'm driving, it'll be charging the batteries. And I believe that that's the way I'm going to go. I'm going to stick with 12 volt. It makes me get a larger charge controller, but since I'm not going with 1200 watts, then I just got to get the one. And then do 820 watts on the top, 2 panels. Still go with 2. They're not making the 300 amp hour anymore that I was looking at, but they were still making now they're making a 280 amp hour. So probably do 2 280 amp hour lithium batteries. That's going to give me about 7.5 kilowatts, which is a lot of battery, guys. That's a lot of battery. And with only 800 watts on the top, which I'm only going to get 650 or so because they're mounted flat, and that's on a really good sunny day, I'm not going to be able to charge that back fully in a single day. Okay, but here's the thing. I think I've decided that I'm going to spend the money and get the EcoFlow Wave 2, which is an air conditioner and a heater in one, and it's super efficient. And like if you're running that air conditioner, I watched a bunch of videos with them testing it and stuff, and if you're running that thing on air conditioning in the eco mode, it only pulls about 280, 300 watts. And it's like a 5,000 BTU air conditioner. And with really good insulation, most of the top covered and is shaded, and some other strategies that I've got, like, I really think that's enough. And it's going to require me to do less, like, special building and perhaps bust out the window and stuff to get a window unit in there. I think that that's the way to go. It also heats. It uses more power when it heats. But the reality is that I plan on using electric blankets, and I also have a strategy plan to keep the batteries warm. So as long as I can put it in some kind of an eco mode, or maybe just run it a little bit before I go to sleep, turn the electric blankets on, and then turn it back on in the morning to warm it up, I think that that's going to be enough. And with drawing a little bit less electricity like that, I think that solar and batteries is going to be plenty. Now, if and then I've also looked at, and this is much more expensive, okay, but I found a 400 watt like solar briefcase type solar panel that you can just fold up. And it folds down to like 2.5 foot by 1.5 foot or something like that. It folds down into this little briefcase. And it also has regular MC4 connectors. So, like, if that is not enough solar, then that's the strategy. Is I will buy that 400 watt solar panel and another little charge controller, and then I can just set that out during the day, depending on where I'm at, when I get a chance, and up my intake to 1200. And then another thing that I've been thinking, like, I was wanting to do all electric, okay? But I think I'm leaning towards a propane stove. And I wasn't going to do that initially, and I'll still have a microwave and my Keurig and all that stuff, but I do like to cook. And that's something that I miss while I've been in this truck all this time, is being able to cook. And I like to cook with gas. So I think I'm going to go with a propane stove, and I'm going to rig myself up a little station in the back where the air conditioner is going to go, and the batteries and a lot of this stuff is going to go in one of the corners of the back. And I'm going to integrate a propane bottle into that, and then probably just use the little 1 pound ones and refill them from the big one. But and that also will save me electricity. So yeah, a lot of ideas. Like, it really feels like my vision of it is starting to come together. And I know I'm just rambling about a lot of stuff, and some of these things may change. But like with the smaller amount of solar on top, like, I feel like it's going to allow me to then put a full-size max air fan on there instead of the little 6-inch thing I was thinking of, and or some kind of a storage, like a Thule or something up on top for a little more storage, because I had been looking into some kind of a swing arm storage on the back, and those are they're the ones that are not super expensive, are janky. And so I only putting 2 solar panels on the back, especially if I kind of hang them off the back just a little bit and give myself another 6 inches, I think that's going to give me more room to work with and do something with on the roof, to maybe have a little more storage, a little better fan. Who knows what I might do with the space. But I really think that with a DC to DC charger with 800 watts on top, and using a little bit less electricity, I think that that's going to be enough. I think that it's going to be more than enough, really. So I don't know, that's just some thoughts. I wanted to get on here and ramble a little bit and talk about my ideas. This stuff helps me a lot, because I come back and watch it and think about the things that I'm talking about, and see the things that are going on in my head, and improve on them, improve on my plan and idea. So this stuff helps me, and hopefully some of y'all enjoy watching it, but it helps me more than anything. So Again, hit that subscribe button because this stuff's going to be coming. All right, I got stuff to take care of first. Like I say, I got to deal with the rust and the lights on the top and the windshield, and then I'm going to start doing some work to the van mechanically and stuff like that. But then it's not going to be very much longer, guys, before I'm ready to start building on it. Like once we get past the summer and it starts cooling down, I'm going to be itching and wanting to take a couple of weeks off and go do a bunch of shit to it. So and I'm almost there with the money. I mean, we're 9,000 now. I say that's enough to do the solar and buy most of the stuff that I need. It's enough to buy like lighting and wiring and wood for the interior and stuff like that. And then some of the stuff like refrigerator and stuff like that, I may actually like buy with a firm and start paying it off so that I can focus in on the other stuff, because I got plenty of time, guys. And like at the beginning of next month will be my last payment on the pool stick. That was the first thing I'd ever bought on that Affirm thing, and it hasn't slowed me down or anything. You know what I mean? And that was a $700 pool stick, and I feel like it hasn't impacted me or slowed me down or anything. So if I can use that same method to keep just accumulating stuff like the refrigerator and smaller stuff, then that'll help me just continue saving and stacking. Because once I get like I'm at 9,000, once I get to about 13, like I'm pretty sure that's enough. And then once I get to that, then I will most likely transfer that money into my other savings account and then start stacking toward the actual money that I'm going to live on while I'm out. And the faster I can get that done, I mean, I guarantee you that once we get real close on the build and the build is almost completed, which I feel like it's going to be like before next summer, I feel like I won't be able to stand it and I'll be just about done with it by then. But once I see the light at the end of the tunnel and like we're getting close, like guys, I'm gonna start living on peanut butter sandwiches and cutting my bills down even more and stacking every single penny I can stack. And it's not going to take me very long to get to 25 grand. And if I haven't talked about that a lot since you've been on the channel, like that's basically what I feel like. I feel like 25 grand, 20 grand and an emergency fund of 5 grand. Okay. I feel like I can make that go for a year. All right. I mean, that's not traveling a whole lot. That's the thing, is that unnecessarily driving 2 or 3 hours down the road makes it very expensive. So you have to plan well. Stay a week in a spot. Don't do a whole lot of driving. Find a BLM spot where you can sit for 2 weeks if you want, and then just hang out and have a good time and sit there for a while, enjoy nature and stuff, and save on fuel. I believe that I can make it for a year. Now, here's the thing though. I think that I may only do 6 or 8 months. I may spend more money and like go shoot pool and get drunk and see friends and go out to dinner and go do stuff. And if that means I don't stay out a full year, then whatever. I don't stay out a full year. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna fucking enjoy myself while I'm out there. And I think that's what this is going to be all about for me. And if that means I spend a little more and I don't get to stay out quite as long, guys, 6 months is a long time. We'll just see how it all pans out. But again, hit that subscribe button, like the videos, follow me on the Yellow Brick Road, and I'll see you on the next one.